All right, guys, so I'm loading it now.
And he's like,
There you go.
he had
Sorry about
a
that.
buddy.
I didn't want it to be
that he
too
could get
overly
credit
long for
to.
my live and
Okay.
causes
And
problems
so
on the
the
backside of
conversation
it.
that you're describing right now, you said you didn't have any what?
Heroin.
Is that what he was offering the gun to you for?
That's what he wanted to trade. He wanted to trade for anything. If I had, coke or heroin or anything, I didn't have nothing.
So he tells you it's okay, I can get rid of it.
Yeah.
And this is at your house?
Yeah.
What happened next?
So I tell him he like talks to somebody and he says, "Hey, I got a guy that's coming over, and he's gonna pull up, and I'm gonna give it to him." And I said, "Move your car out of my driveway." I had a big parking lot next to my house, and I said, will you go into the parking lot and not in my driveway?" So he went out, and it's really like there's a fence, and here's my door, and like maybe from me to you is where he parked, but it was out of my driveway.
Okay, so he moves his vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's after telling you that he has someone that's coming?
Yeah.
What was your understanding of what that person was coming to do?
He was getting rid of the gun.
And which gun are we talking about on this occasion?
The assault, like the assault rifle. Like I say assault rifle, like I don't know how they go, but I know it wasn't like the hunting deer rifle. It was like a stock and like an assault rifle. I don't know.
Did you see what he did with that rifle that you just described?
Oh yeah, I was like, as awful as it is, like I was glad that he was doing what he was doing, because like I didn't have any drugs. So then he was like, "Mike," he's like, "come with me. He's gonna give me money and stuff for it." And I said, "All right." So when he showed up, we both went into the parking lot, and I got in the back seat, and after he got hit the gun, he was in the front seat.
And when you say he was in the front seat, who's he?
Adam.
Okay. And then you mentioned he said, "Come with me." The defendant said, "Come with me."
Well, he wasn't saying come with me. He knew like I was not feeling well, so it was more like I was like, "Right when you get it, will you give me some?" like so I can feel better, type thing.
So it sounds like you were sick at that point. Was that, would you call it dope sick? So you were in pain.
Yeah.
And he says, "Come with me." Did you go somewhere with him?
But you should just go through the pain,
Okay. Did you go somewhere with him?
Yeah, I went to the car.
And we've talked about this. You regret a lot of the decisions you made back then. And you're not that person anymore.
Right.
Sustained.
So you went somewhere with him.
Got in the car.
Okay. Did the car leave the area?
Nope. We sat right there. He said, "Here." He said, "Here." I gave money, and Adam reached back, gave me stuff so I could take some real quick. I get back to him, and we left.
And you said he told you he was gonna get.
You're funny, Voucher.
Money
Yeah,
and
we're going to be
stuff.
hanging out.
Yeah.
What does stuff mean?
I just want to hear him get a
Heroin.
long sentence for this, finally.
At any point did you hold either firearm?
No.
Do you remember being arrested on January 14th of 2020?
Yeah.
And do you remember providing a statement to law enforcement?
Honestly, like I don't, just like with the like the movies you guys gave me and stuff. I don't want to look at any of that stuff. I look like I'm like 110 pounds. I didn't want to do any of it.
Do you remember
Let's be honest,
Do you remember providing a statement back in January of 2020?
I'm sure I did, yeah.
Do you remember being asked if you saw the guns?
I'm sure they asked me that. I mean, like, I know that, I'm just telling you, like, I know that
Do you remember being asked if
I
you
know
saw
what
the
I know.
guns?
Huh?
Do you remember being asked if you saw the guns?
I'm sure they asked me that,
Do you remember saying, I held them. I held the AR and the shotgun?
I don't remember saying it. The shotgun, like, that night I might have held it when he had the gun with the 4 bullets, because I remember it was like a big deal at the house, but I don't remember holding them. I might have, wasn't really too much I wouldn't have done at the time.
So, Mr. Sullivan, obviously a lot of time has passed since the events that you're describing. Do you think that your memory of those incidents is better back then or now?
I think I just have like certain things I remember 100% clear.
There's certain things you remember 100% clear.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like only say them. That's what I was trying to say
He
about
seems
like
at least truthful. He just
you know,
seems
the-
like he's got a dude with a lot of
the
problems.
shotgun thing. Like I thought I remembered him coming over, but I can't say that 100% true. I don't know that it was like him with it, but I believe it was at the house and we were all there. So like it's disingenuous for me to say like it was definitely him with it. I know for a fact about that's what I'm saying, like the assault rifle and us getting in the car and doing all that, like,
Okay.
remember
And so your relationship with the defendant back then, did you know his first and last name?
no, I knew his first name.
And what did you believe his last name was?
I didn't care.
So when you gave your statement in 2020, did you know the defendant's last name at that point?
I don't think so. I don't know when he told me in a conversation once.
Okay. When you gave your statement in 2020, did you know his last name?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I said his last name or not. I don't know. Like this is like that.
And that's fine. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I don't have any other questions for you. The defense attorneys may.
Good morning, Mr. Sullivan. How are you?
Good.
Do you remember me?
Yes.
I'll introduce myself again. I'm Caroline Smith. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you, Caroline.
He definitely, he's wearing a long sleeve sweater. It could be to hide track marks. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be hidden.
You
It's
said something.
this guy does not look healthy. He
about
looks
when
better
you were
than
talking about,
probably he was during this
the
time frame because he
prosecutor
looks he's
about
got
the
weight.
January 2020 interview and seeing a movie on it. You talking about a video?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so let's go back. That January 20.
Does this lady know she needs to be in front of a microphone?
Did you re-look at it or anything?
No, I haven't looked at anything. Even the stuff like they gave me for today, I didn't look at them either. They gave me DVDs to be able to review, and
I don't know why it went dark.
See what I look like. I don't want to see what I sound like. I don't want to be here today.
Right.
Right.
But at the same time, you said that if they hadn't subpoenaed you, you would be.
I would.
Okay. So,
Like I'm trying to not be.
it's,
Go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
I know you've answered and
Yep.
you do talk a lot, right?
Sorry.
No, I'm asking now. You have a tendency to talk a lot, right?
Overruled.
I mean, do I talk a lot?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you like I converse? I usually am talking to somebody, so
Let's talk about how long you.
I'll try and keep them short and sweet.
Just, we only answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You knew Adam. Let's see. When you recall when Kimmy talked about stolen guns, right? Remember the time period?
Yes.
When?
Do I remember the time period of when it happened?
Uh-huh.
No.
No.
I just know that we were all at my house. It was the same time in my life. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't know when it happened, but you do recall it happening and Kimmy talking about stolen guns.
I know that Kimmy said that Ish and Manny had taken her car and Adam had come over.
Okay. But you told the police before that Kimmy came over first was saying Ish and Manny stole the guns.
She called and said that they took her car. And I said, I know that when I got talked to Kimmy first, she said, because she knew kind of we all hung out together. And she said Ish and Manny wouldn't give her car back.
And I think that you said that is actually when you first really met Kim, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of helped her out there.
Yeah.
Right? But she said, if you let them know that you know their last names,
Yeah.
they'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Right? Because you knew their names.
Yes.
Right? And Ish had actually been a friend of yours for many years.
I mean, he was like a friend of mine. Like then I would have said yes, but now he was the guy who I got drugs from. That's how I met him. That's the only way I knew him. So I wasn't a good friend to other people I gave drugs to, so I wouldn't call him my friend.
I thought you knew him even before that. No?
No, I met him always drugs.
Okay.
We hung out and we did things like watch football and did drugs together. We walked and talked and did drugs together. Like Ish is a good person too. Everybody's a good person. I'm just saying that like, now knowing what I know, I'm not a good person to like giving him drugs while we were hanging out,
Okay. In any event, you knew Ish for a few years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And Ish would come over to your house.
Yes.
And
Both
I
ways.
think you were just saying
Both
that,
ways. Yeah.
Pardon?
Both. I went to his house too. Yeah.
Okay, you'd go to his house, he'd go to your house. Is that right?
Yes.
People would pop in at your house all the time.
Yes.
And at one point, Kimmy had called you, even though you didn't know her, to get some help getting her car back from Ish and Manny.
Yeah. I had, Matt and they worked with Matt and Alana, I believe it was, at Dunkin' Donuts, and like Matt and Alana were at my house all the time too. So like they were getting phone calls from her.
Okay. So you do kind of help her out, and after that, she starts hanging out at your place along with the others, right?
Yes.
And you said before that Kim had come over and accused Ish and Manny of having stolen her gun.
Yes.
Right? And then you turned around and you wanted to be nice to Kim, so you went and had a conversation with Ish. Right?
Yes.
And based on that.
Yes.
So they're trying to prevent like a lot of this man's testimony. It sounds like, he was in the gutter right along with Adam. He was a friend to Adam. He, provided him narcotics to keep him and his girlfriend from being sick. which says a lot in their world because that stuff is, their lifeline. And to be giving that out to a friend, they have to be a friend. They just don't hand it out to somebody that they don't really take a lot about. It takes a lot of courage to talk about drug use in court. He could have used the Fifth Amendment and avoid talking about stuff. He deserves credit. Yeah, you're right, Jeremiah. You are absolutely right. By the way, thank you for being here. I don't know if you watched the Bullhorn Betty channel, but it's your name that I don't recognize. So thank you for being here. But yeah, you're absolutely right. How hard this must be to talk about
Yes.
it.
And one time she came over to your place and said that Ish and Manny had stolen her gun.
Yes.
And when she told you that, you went and talked to Ish.
Yes.
And based on that conversation with Ish, you went and talked to Kim.
Yes.
And Kim no longer accused Ish.
No.
After that.
No.
Okay. But she accused everybody else, right?
She just said that they hadn't taken it, that was part of like their deal that weekend to get more drugs, and they were to use the car, and then like, it was just a deal she had made.
Okay. So before I ask more about some of the things that you said before, let's talk about the various times that you've talked to law enforcement and prosecutors about
Okay.
this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the state talked about an interview with police January of 2020, right? Is that right?
I don't remember it, like the date, but I did. Yes.
And you said yes when he was asking you about that, right?
Yes.
And this was a time that you were driving and were pulled over, right?
Yes.
And you could have gotten in criminal trouble for.
I did get in trouble.
Okay. And one of the things was that you weren't allowed to drive, right?
I got in trouble for driving without a license.
Weren't you a habitual offender?
I don't know. I know that had been like my third, fourth time driving without a license. So
He's like, yeah, I'm a habitual. He ain't even lying up there.
I don't know. From that,
I have to be honest. He seems pretty honest for a drug addict.
So let's talk about that. Is the other thing that was that there were drugs in the car, right?
Yes.
And so you talked to the police, right? And this is you were pretty scared when you talked to the police, right?
No, I wasn't comfortable. That's for sure.
Because they actually threatened you to take your kids away, right?
They told me they would. Yes. They said
Pardon?
yes.
They
Probably
said
shouldn't have
that,
them.
We'll
Or
call
those kind of
PCYS
drugs.
and we'll take your kids away.
They told me they were going to. They said it was done. They were like, let me know what's up, because they're like, you lost your kids. You've lost your kids. And then, they kept saying like, you lost your kids. And then when we get in the room, they were like, listen, we can take your kids away. We can take your kids away, and I just thought it was a little much.
Okay. And so they wanted you to give something to not, so that you could get out of trouble.
They wanted to know, if you look at that, I had a small amount of drugs on my side driving, right? And the person in the passenger seat threw a large amount of drugs in the car. They wanted to know whose drugs those were.
Okay. That was Todd Bernatchez that was in the car with you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Me either.
That's close. And they wanted to talk to you about things that you knew in your community that you could give them, and in exchange, you understood that you could go to rehab and your troubles would be behind you.
No, when I went to go to court that day, my lawyer actually said, Mike, you don't have to agree to anything. I can go talk to the prosecutor, and he just said that you can I worked it out where you can go to rehab for a month. So there was no no agreement to anything, just like with here, like after I had given them the information, why I said I would show up without no subpoena is because I said something after.
Let's go back to the 20th, to 2020.
Okay.
So you actually gave them information about someone else that caused you to leave town, right?
No, I didn't leave town. I didn't want to stay in town and go to rehab because the rehab was in town.
So you gave information and then got worried that the person that you gave information on would read it in their discovery and know that you had given the information, so you kind of went in hiding.
Yeah, well, no, just like in all our circle of friends all came to my house every day. So eventually, like in his discovery, he would see that, and then everybody at the house would ask me about it. I wasn't, I mean, I did what I did, so I wasn't gonna sit there and say no, but at the same time, I didn't want everybody at my house to, and at that time I was doing drugs, so I didn't want like my drug world to fall apart.
Okay. So you were not afraid of that other person that you.
Nice. This dude's honest.
Oh no, I was worried about it. I was definitely worried about it.
It seems like he is honest. Like he as a juror, I'd be concerned next drug addict, but he seems ultra honest here.
You sort of gave a whole lot of stuff, right?
No, I like I
Hey, Miss
told him about
Ann.
that one thing, and I told him about things that like I said, I'm not trying to like sit on like a high horse, but I told him about things I wanted to tell him anyway.
Okay.
So they didn't like make me tell him anything. Like I gave them that information,
But they had told you that they were taking your kids away and calling BCOI.
Yeah, about the stuff in the car that I didn't know whose it was. So I couldn't say because I didn't see what had happened. Two people were saying two different things about what happened in the car.
Okay. So one of the.
Nah, I don't believe that.
bits of
He just lost me
information
there.
that you did give
I believe he
me
knew exactly
was
whose it was and where it came
about the
from.
Fran guns, right?
I don't know if that was on the 20th, but I did end up giving them that. Yeah.
It was shortly after you were pulled over with the drugs in the car, right?
I'm not sure if it was then or when they got me on the warrant, like when they came and got me at the house.
Okay. Well, back on the 20th, you gave information that Ish, Manny, and Adam, but you said that Ish and, first of all, you let the police know that you had information on stolen drugs from Kim and Chris Frame's house.
No,
You didn't tell them that.
no, I didn't. I don't know anything about stolen drugs.
Did I say drugs or not?
Drugs.
My mistake. So, you gave police information about, that you said you could give information about stolen guns from Chris and Kim Frame's house.
Yes.
And you told them where Kim and Chris Frame lived at the time that their guns were taken, right?
I assume so.
And you told them that Ish, Manny, and then you said, and Adam stole the guns.
I don't know if that's what I said. I don't know. I did tell them about it. So I don't know what I said. Like I said, I haven't reviewed or looked at anything. I said I will.
Okay. And you told the police that, and the prosecutor asked you that you actually held the guns, right?
I don't know. I don't remember saying that.
Okay. And you also told them that you held them at Adam's house.
I never saw it at Adam's house.
And you also told them when they asked where you got the information about what happened to the guns, you said you got it from Ish. You remember that?
I don't remember any of it. So if you want to like I'll go over my thing with you if you want, but I don't recall any of that.
Okay. So we'll go over some other things as well. And I said that I was going to set the stage there was a conversation with the police back in January-ish of 2020. And then in March of 2022, you understood that the police wanted to talk to you. Right?
Yes.
You had spoken to your wife and you understood the police wanted to talk to you.
Yes.
And at that time, you were in Manchester
No.
when you got the call from your wife.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Russell.
No. I wasn't in Manchester. I was en route. So I guess, I mean, I when I first talked to her, I was driving there. And then when I got there, we talked more about it. So yeah.
Okay. Staying at Beach Street?
Beach Hill, yes.
Beach Hill.
I was picking up my son.
Huh?
I was picking up my son.
Okay. So the next, after you understood from your wife that the police wanted to talk to you, the police showed up in the morning to arrest you, right?
They said, just have Mike come down. So I spent the night. And instead of leaving my son, I spent the night at Mike's house. And then I was supposed to go in the morning, but it was probably like, I don't know, really early in the morning. And all of a sudden it was like in the movies where like people were held down on ropes and like jumped, like everybody came in and they, it was the U.S. Marshals.
Okay. Bunch of police.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a scary situation, right?
Yeah, it was too much.
And that was in March of 2022. Is that right?
I don't know. I believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a copy of a transcript of that interview to see if the date might refresh your recollection, okay?
Okay.
So this is an interview with Michael Sullivan. That would be you?
March 31st, 2022.
Okay, does that sound right?
Yes.
And they came, they arrested you, they brought you to the police department.
Mm-hmm.
And the arrest was for a fugitive from justice, right?
It was for the same charge, but when I didn't go to rehab.
It was for a fugitive from justice for not going to court when you were supposed to on the charge.
We're not going to rehab. I got a fugitive of justice for not going. If I had gone to rehab, that would all gone away. I never went to rehab. They issued that warrant and they came and got me.
So you saying you didn't miss court on that?
I didn't go to the rehab that I was supposed to go to after that. That's what I was saying.
So supposed to go to court on those charges after that, right?
No, my lawyer had made it so that if I went to rehab, then those would go away.
Okay. Well, that was the drug charge from January of 2020, right?
I believe so.
You had an outstanding warrant at the time that you were arrested in January of 2020 for September 2019.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you had a felony drug charge, right?
I don't think I had a felony drug charge. Maybe. Yes, I assume that. Yes, I don't know what my charges were. I know that my lawyer came to me and said, "Hey, I talked to the prosecutor. I'm like, go to rehab. When you leave this courthouse, go to rehab right now. From here, go there." And I walked out and went home.
Okay. So you didn't do what your lawyer told you to, so those charges were still there.
Yeah.
And you still had your earlier charges from September of 2019.
I don't know. I don't know if that was part of I assumed that was part of that because I thought all my stuff was done if I had gone that day. I don't know.
So you didn't go that day, so there's no reason.
No,
keep yourself
I went and did drugs.
And there were more court hearings that you didn't go to.
No, after that, they got me.
To
After that, they came in like G.I. Joe through the windows and stuff. Like they came in and grabbed me and scooped me up and brought me to to the,
2 years later, right? In March of 2022.
yeah, well, they had come out to my house to talk to me about the thing that we can't talk about, right?
Your wife called and said that they were looking for you, right?
Yeah, but they came out and said they wanted to talk to me about something. Don't worry, you're not in trouble.
Okay. And that was at your wife's place in Mass, right?
Yes.
But you were here in Manchester.
And I said, yeah. And I'm like, all right. So my wife was like, hey, Mike, it's okay. And I said, I'll go in the morning. And literally that morning, they all came and got me on a fugitive by justice because I didn't do the rehab. That's what I thought.
Okay. And so you got the fugitive from justice arrest, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you gave the police another statement, and that was the March 31st, 2022 that I just showed you, right?
The statement about the thing that,
The guns and anything else that they wanted to ask you, right? You talked about the guns with them.
Judge, may we approach? Yes.
I'm sitting right here. I'm playing on my phone. I'm listening, but I just realized it went silent, and it dawned on me that they were calling it. It's really tricky with this witness because this witness has a lot of information, and it's a lot of damaging information, and he's kind of unrestricted. I'm sure he was coached a little bit, not like coached of what to say, but coached how to answer. That's typically when we do uh, with clients. When you go through stuff, you want to do like mock juries and stuff like that, but you don't really do that with the witnesses. However, you still prep them, so you kind of say, you want to keep your answers very short. If they're asking yes or no questions, you want to answer yes or no. If they're asking open-ended questions, you'd really want to limit what you say. You want to, if you don't understand their question, ask them to repeat or clarify, because you only want to be asking what they want, asked or answered what they're asking. You don't want to give them any more information. You never want to jeopardize opening the door to other lines of questioning, which we did see in the Alec Murdaugh case. They were trying to keep Cousin Eddie out. He was brought in. There was other stuff. They were trying to keep a lot of the financial stuff out. And then they were asking about certain things that brought certain information that wasn't needed in. So this guy here, he's answering the question, but when
Go ahead, we'll fix that at the lunch break.
it's different in when you're dealing with
Okay,
this type of person.
so you can proceed.
So they wanted to talk to you about an investigation regarding Adam Montgomery, right?
yes.
And you talked to them about the guns
I talked,
in that discussion.
I talked to them about that. They wanted to know like all the history and then about the thing. And then like I talked about everything I knew about Adam.
Right. And you talked to them about the guns.
Yes.
And then about a year later, we had a deposition, right?
Yes.
Do you remember what a deposition is? I started asking
Yes.
questions and you were under oath,
Yep.
right? And that was just a couple of months ago, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
And after the deposition, you met with the state to prepare for this.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. And where was that? Was that also in Keene?
Yep.
Where
Keene,
the deposition?
Keene, DOJ, I think. I don't know. It was a like a federal building.
But it was Keene.
Yes.
And you met with them and you didn't look at your prior stuff, but you talked about it, right?
I never looked at the DVDs you guys that I yes.
Okay. So they asked you questions about some of the other things that you had said before, right?
This is
Yes.
the Adam
And
Montgomery gun
they
trial.
asked you questions about
Now,
maybe
Harmony
some
Montgomery, he was charged with her
inconsistencies and
murder.
things that you
We
had said
covered Harmony
before,
Montgomery on this
right?
channel, so I thought it'd be interesting.
Yes.
That's for you, peace and
Okay.
love.
How
Peace,
long
love,
did
and
you
light.
talk with them?
Maybe like
Oh, Lord.
35,
Mike?
45
Mike's in the
minutes,
house.
maybe.
Adam Montgomery's innocent.
And
I'm just
You
joking.
said DOJ and you said Keene. Did you ever come to Concord to talk to him?
No.
Okay. But you, at some point you sat down to prepare for this trial.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about how long you knew Adam. I think that you said, you got to know Adam after Kim was talking about the stolen guns, right?
No,
I got to know Adam after
that's
when
one
he
of his
came over with
friends,
Manny.
one of his drug
Okay.
buddies.
And that was after Kim had talked about the stolen guns.
I don't.
Right?
I don't think so. That's the first time I had met him, and then I know that I had Alana and her boyfriend around, so it was like all the same group of friends.
Okay. Do you recall saying at the deposition you didn't really get to know Adam until after the guns were stolen?
I never really, like, me and Adam honestly never really got to know each other that much at all. I mean, we did drugs together, and then we didn't do much else, like, so.
So you knew Adam for maybe a little bit of time before the guns were stolen?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of weeks?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, it might have been shorter, it might have been longer, I don't know.
Okay. And the last time that you saw Adam was around what you said was this sale of a gun in front of you, right?
Yes.
And you said that was
The last time I saw him, he came over the house with Todd Burnett, the Bernucci's.
Thank you, man, lady. You're 7 months. Wow.
You didn't get
Yes,
it right
I'm so
either.
happy here. Love you,
You
Becky.
didn't
And
get the name
Chad.
right either.
Oh, thank you.
It's a tough one.
all right. Well, in any event,
And Mountain Girl, thank you. You didn't write anything though, but I'm
and you
sure it's out of
talked to
love. So
after
thank you.
Kim
God
came
bless
over
you.
and accused Ish and Manny of stealing guns from her.
Yes.
She never said that again after you talked to Ish and Manny, right?
Right.
But all the same people were hanging around together, and she said she started accusing other people, right?
She started like that's what I'm saying. She floated.
Yeah, I saw you left.
Floated out the way she told me is she floated out the camera thing because she was unsure, so she acted like she knew. So like she didn't know. She didn't know if they did or didn't. She was acting like it.
Okay. I think you talked at the deposition about Kim talking about things in front of people at your house, right?
Yes.
And that she said something about the video, and it was sort of she and Adam were joking back and forth about it.
Yeah, they both laughed about it,
Okay. And you said almost every time that they were together at your house, she would say something about the video.
What's up, sis? I hope you're doing
they would
well.
joke about it.
Yes.
And that Adam had said if you had a video, there would be an arrest.
Yes.
And that was kind of true, right? If Kim's got a video of who took her
Yeah.
guns. And so that was a conversation that was going around in the house for a long time, right?
No, that was the conversation me and him had in the car when he said I know she don't have cameras, Mike, because I'd be in jail right now.
The joking back and forth.
That was in the house, yes.
Okay, and that was about her accusation that was sometimes Adam, sometimes somebody else, right?
She thought Adam did it, and then like
She actually told you Ish and Manny had done it.
the handguns, she said that they had. She first told me that the handguns, they had taken them, and then later I had found out she made a deal when they were using the car about the handguns, and they never got stolen from her. That the handguns were like part of her deal to let them use the car and all that.
Well, actually, you had learned that Ish and Manny had traded the guns for drugs with her, right?
Yeah, like
And
that.
it was,
The car and drugs, yes.
and it was the 380 and the shotgun, you said?
Sustained.
Okay. More than one gun, right?
I believe so.
Okay. And that was something you learned from Manny.
From Ish and Manny, and like all of this was like everybody kind of knew the. Oh, you know how I had a bunch of people in my house. Eventually, everybody knew what happened. You know.
Okay. So you said that in those conversations in the house, it was kind of comical, Kim saying she had a camera in the house. Right?
Yes.
And then you said at some point, so this is more than one conversation around a group of people, right?
Yes.
And then you say today that you have a drive over to Adam's and you and Adam talk about the video, right?
Well, we talk about Kimmy had just saying downstairs that she had a, you know, that she had like I got it all on camera and blah blah blah, and then when we left and we were on the way over to his house, he was laughing like, I know she don't have cameras, you know.
Like he had been laughing all those other times when she was saying she had a camera of whoever did it, right?
Yes.
And she never said she had a camera of Adam, right? A video of Adam, right?
That's what she was saying. She was saying like that she had got somebody on the side of the house or something running, you know. I don't know. She was just like trying to like fish out a confession, I think.
From the people that were there in the place.
Yes.
Right? But you had already talked to her about what Ish had told you, that nothing was stolen, he had traded.
That's right.
And let's talk about may we approach Your Honor?
Yes.
So they're going to be approaching again. Hold on a second. Forgive me, BHB. Oh, you guys are cray. Subsis is in the house, and I know I just said hi to her, but I didn't get to say hi to her because we had this going on, and I try not to interrupt it too much while it's on. So congratulations to all new members. Mike, Amanda. Oh, thank you. I didn't know we had new members. Hold on. Let me, what is going on here? Wow. Oh, thank you, Sepsis. God bless you. Bless you. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you some questions about your deposition.
Okay.
And you were given a copy of the deposition, but you didn't read it, right?
No, I was given a DVD. Oh yeah, he did give me a copy at the end. Yeah, I didn't read it.
Okay. So the DVD was before you did the deposition and you didn't watch that.
No.
And the deposition you got before prepping with the state for the trial.
No, I got at the end of
I do a
that.
show from the office tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. Not. We'll see. It's been a nice break from the walls. I've been popping around the house. I usually don't move this much around the house, to be honest with you. It's been a little interesting. I guess I like new sceneries.
It's the last thing I was handed before I left.
I see. You
Yeah.
have not received or reviewed the transcript prior to talking to the state. Okay. And so they gave it to you to take home with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you read it?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to have some
I'm sorry.
questions on the deposition.
I made 1 month and you missed
And
me.
you said that
I must have missed it. I'm sorry.
were arrested on a fugitive from justice charge for failing to go to rehab, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to show you page 12. And you're okay with reading in front of a bunch of people?
Sure.
Can that happen? Okay, I'm going to ask you to read maybe to the bottom of the page, and I'm going to turn to the next page when you're done.
Start at top.
No, from the middle here.
And
That'll do.
you didn't go to the.
Nope, nope, I'm sorry. I did mean to yourself.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
And I asked you questions about going to rehab and asked if you didn't appear, the case would not be resolved, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then I asked you, was it a fugitive from justice charge? And you said yes, right?
Yes.
And the police were looking for you because you didn't appear at the rehab or the court date, right?
I didn't appear at the rehab, or I said yes.
Or the court date, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said that,
Please,
after
please.
that statement, on August 9 of 2022, your case was dropped, right?
Yes.
And you had told when you had to appear for that court case after they arrested you that day, right?
Yeah, I had to go back for the rehab. I didn't go to that same charge when I went in. Right before we got in, that's when I said to them, I said, hey, man, like, I just want to leave, man, just to be done with it. Like, I've tried to help you guys as much as I can. I told that to the prosecutor, not to anybody that I had talked to prior to then.
Right.
And he said, if that's what, let me check if that's what you did, and then I'll just let it go.
So the police said that when you were there, that they would take your cooperation in consideration and talk to the prosecutor, right?
Yes.
And then when you went to court, you told the prosecutor, hey, I cooperated, talk to the Manchester police, they'll tell you, right?
Yeah, they said they'd help me and put me in jail for 5 days. And then I told the prosecutor when I went in, like they were like, oh, we'll try and the police were like, we'll take it into consideration, and then they didn't. And then I was the first time I had to stay in jail for 5 days.
Well, actually, they told you that they couldn't guarantee.
Objection, Judge. Hearsay.
Okay, no,
Here we go again. I'm telling you, they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time with this witness. Who is this guy? So this guy apparently is the person that Adam was hanging out in and around the time all this stuff was going on. Apparently, he had a real bad, substance abuse problem. The H and the C and everything else. It didn't matter. It seemed like Adam was equal opportunity, drug user. So it's like, this guy apparently, I don't know, everybody was hanging out at his house. I don't know how he had a house or how he was supporting it or how he was supporting, all these problems. I don't know what this guy does, but apparently he was the go-to guy, at least for a little while. I don't know. I mean, he looks like he's cleaned up a little bit. It looks like he's at least on something that's keeping him, mellow. And I don't know what he looked like then, but it looks like he would have probably been much thinner based on the kind of stuff that they were doing. So he, in my estimation, appears that he's, living a healthier lifestyle, I would assume, but who knows? Who knows? I've met some pretty hefty people that did a lot of really bad stuff, and I don't know how they managed to, for somebody else and make them look anorexic. So I mean, I have no idea.
Time with the police,
Weird.
they actually told you that. I'm sorry. You actually knew that you were going back to Valley Street, right?
No, at first they were like, they had me stay actually at the police station, and then they said they were going to be back in the morning. And when I got up in the morning, they weren't there. And then somebody else on shift said, "We're bringing you to Valley."
Sustained.
You understood that you had to go back to court before you could be released.
Overruled.
You understood you had to go to court before you could be released, right?
They were going to try and make it so that, I could get the,
You
Sustained.
understood that you would go to
they told me they were going to try and get the bail.
Sustained. Just listen to the question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So you understood that you would not be released until after you went to court, right?
When I had stayed that night, they said they were going to let me try and see the
Court.
Sustained.
bailiff to be bailed out. So I wasn't going to go there.
Now, you were arrested on a fugitive from justice charge, right?
Overruled.
A failure to appear for your court hearings, right?
A failure to go to the rehab, yes.
And to court, as you just saw in your deposition before, right?
I had got told to go to a rehab, and then I had gotten arrested for possession like 3 other times, and I'd never been in jail, so they had kept giving me deals. And then finally they said, "All right, if you go to jail, this is your last chance, Mike." I didn't go, and then I knew I had a warrant for my arrest.
Okay. So, you went to court after the weekend was done, right? A few days later.
Overruled.
I think it was on like a Wednesday. I ended up staying from like Friday to like Tuesday or Wednesday.
And you talked to the prosecutor and you said, "I've cooperated with the police. These charges should go away," right?
Yes.
And
I said, I tried to help you guys. I want to be done with this because it was, and because they were about to talk. And then when he said, I said, "Look, I've tried to help with big deal things, not like, I had a possession charge," and I was like, these were things that like, and he said, "If I can verify that all this stuff you told me was true, then I'll let you go."
Okay. And the charges.
So they pended it.
Huh?
So then he pended it and said, "I'll send you an."
Sorry,
I'm going to stop you for a minute.
He's starting, in my estimation, he's not liking how she's stating the question, and he's trying to constantly correct her, and he's not really answering the question that she has been asking. She was trying to ask, did he need to go to court in order to be released? It was a yes or no question. He should have answered yes or no. He wanted, I'm not sure. Yeah, he looks frustrated because he doesn't like how she's wording it. They're complaining because he's not answering the question.
Then just, there's been a lot of objections. I just want to
I'm
be clear
sorry.
about something. You can answer the question as to what you knew, you thought, and you did.
Okay,
Do not say what someone else told you, okay? So, unless, so I just want you
He's
to
not
listen to the
understanding that
questions and
when
just say
somebody
what you
tells him
thought, what
something,
you
he
knew,
can't
what you-
repeat what they
what,
said.
what if it's
That's
something that I
hearsay.
thought that after someone told me something?
Then, the council will stop
Okay.
you or ask you a
Okay,
different
sorry.
question, okay?
Yep.
The idea is that you cannot say what other people told
Okay.
you, okay? There
Yep.
are a few exceptions to that rule. If one of those exceptions comes up,
Okay,
the lawyer will let you know.
Okay.
Otherwise, please don't share what other people said, okay?
okay.
All right, go ahead.
So on August 9, 2022, your felony charge of possession of a controlled drug subsequent was dropped.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about timing. After Kim came to your place to talk about stolen guns the first time, okay? Before you talked to Ish and Manny about what she had said. You know what time
Okay.
I'm talking about?
Yep.
I know you don't understand the date, but from that time period, you gave a description of something that happened with Adam and a gun, right? Adam mentioned something about a gun in his house. You got that?
No.
You said that
They
you
were
were at-
when
wait. You said that you were at the house and Adam said that the AR was in there pointing to a different room at the house.
right after we had left my house, when we were in the car going to his house, when they had the camera
Go ahead.
when they had the camera conversation, then we were going over to his house after he had said that. That's when we get to the house. I meet his girl. They get high. He says, "Oh, it's back here," because she's telling me how much we're talking about everything that had just happened.
When was that in relationship to when Kim came over and said Ish and Manny had stolen the guns and you went and talked to Ish and Manny?
Oh, I'm not sure. That was like, I had heard, like, I heard she was saying that they had got stolen, and I had talked to them, and I was like, she's not being truthful about what happened,
The way that it happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't stealing,
Yes.
it was
Yes.
trading and it was more than one gun.
Yes.
And how long after those conversations were you at Adam's house when you say he pointed at a room and said the AR-15 was in that room?
I'm not sure. It was when they were downstairs bickering and laughing at, like, because she was trying to say that the camera was there, and then
I'm talking about the day that
me too.
Okay, that she came in and it said Ish and Manny stole the guns. From that day.
He seems
when
confused.
Are you at Adam's house?
At
for
Adam's
the
house
first
to
time?
the time that he said it's in the back room,
Uh-huh.
the same day that we were downstairs and she said the camera thing to him, and then we were on our way to his house.
About the day that she came in and said Ish and Manny stole her gun. Got that day? Is that a different day
Yes.
than when you went to Adam's?
Yes.
And how long was the day that how far apart was the day that she said Ish and Manny stole my guns and that you went to Adam's house?
I'm not sure. It was just a topic of conversation, that like around that time.
Do you know if it was days or weeks or hours?
If I said a time, I think I would, that wouldn't be right. I'm guessing pretty close to, I don't want to say pretty close to because I don't know.
Okay, but it wasn't the same day?
No,
Probably not the day after?
probably not. Maybe that week. I don't know.
Maybe a
Maybe,
week or so?
maybe, yeah.
Okay, and from the time that you say that Adam pointed to a room and said the AR-15 is there, How long after that did you say that Adam came to your house with a gun or with two guns?
I don't think it was too long because I didn't have anything at that time, and they didn't have anything that day. And it was like kind of like he was trying to help me out.
So are we talking maybe a week after the first time that you
I'm-
went to Adam's house?
Yeah, I'm guessing somewhere in there. Yeah, probably.
Does that sound about
Sure,
right?
sure,
Not a long period of time, but not immediate.
sure.
Okay. And so this might be a week or two after Kim first said that Adam, that Ish and Manny stole the guns. A week later, you might be at Adam's house and he points to that room is where the AR-15 is. And then maybe a week later until you say that Adam came to your place with an AR-15 and a shotgun.
I think the best way to put it is like it was all around the same time. I can't say like I can't say like a day, 7 days, 14. It was around the same time. All of it was happening.
Not the same day.
Not the same day.
All right. When you testified today, you said that you believe that you saw an AR-15 come to your house.
Yeah, I saw an assault rifle that looks. I don't know. Like I can't say that it's an AR-15 or a AK or I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not liking how she's wording the questions. I don't know, like I'm listening to what he's saying and I'm listening to what she's asking, and it seems to me that he's answering what she's saying, but he's just not liking how she's presenting it, and he wants it presented his way. That's kind of what I'm seeing here, because it's the same information. He doesn't like to think like a week or two. He probably thinks a week or two sounds too long in his mind because he doesn't remember, but he wants to make sure it's well known that it all happened in a close proximity to one another. So he's not liking her trying to be specific on dates, like 2 weeks, and he wants it to be general but close, and that's probably true. That's his truth, and I think he feels. I don't know. I'm listening to this and I'm trying to gauge him. He does appear that he wants to be truthful and transparent, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be reading it wrong, but he does seem to be wanting to be very truthful and very transparent.
33, I'm not gonna have you hold it or anything, but can you see what's inside of that box?
Yeah,
What is it?
an assault rifle, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this look like what you say that Adam brought to your place?
Yeah, like I saw the barrel and then the stock.
Pardon?
Like the barrel and the stock, there was a sheet over like the middle of it.
Was this the one that you said was loaded with bullets?
What? No, the shotgun had bullets on the side of it.
So it's not. It was another gun that you said.
I don't think the shotgun was loaded either. It had the shotgun I saw had bullets on the side. There was like, where you hold the ammo on it.
So it sounds like you got a pretty good look at the assault rifle that you say that Adam brought over and the shotgun that you say Adam brought over.
A pretty good look with a sheet on it. And then I was in the back and it was dark. So they handed it. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Like, I didn't hold it.
Pardon?
I didn't hold it. I didn't really see the whole thing in like he got it out of the trunk, was walking up to my steps, and he had it, and there was a sheet over the middle of it. So I saw the barrel and the stock.
Okay. So I think I heard
Or
you
handle.
say that you didn't hold it, right?
Right.
And on direct examination, when the prosecutor was asking about your January 2020 statement that after you had gotten pulled over that time, he asked if you said that you held the guns, and you said that you couldn't.
I could have held the shotgun. The AR, I know I didn't.
Okay. Okay. So, you described Adam, as you say, coming over to try and sell a gun, and you're saying that he tried to sell it to you.
I'm saying Adam came over all the time, and we would get, like we were drug friends, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It wasn't like he only showed up, as like an arms dealer.
Okay. Adam showed up, and you said that he had a gun, right?
Yes.
And he was wondering if you were interested in buying this gun.
That day when he came over, he was like, as he was getting it out, he was trying to see if I wanted it, and I had nothing. And he was like, "Don't worry, I can get rid of it, and I'll get us something."
Did you say something? Okay, so let's get this situation set up. You say he comes over, you don't have any, you're kind of dope sick, and he comes out, and it's pretty apparent, I think, that you said on direct.
Yes.
It's just sort of out there, and he's walking up the
Driveway.
right?
Yes.
And you said, no, get that out of here.
Yes.
And so he went and he got in the car, and where did he go?
No, he put it back in the trunk.
Uh-huh.
And then we were sitting there and came up, and when we were talking, I was like, "Man, I don't have shit either. And he was like, I can get rid of it, and I'll get us some."
And where did he go?
He stayed at my house, and the person was coming over, and I said, "Don't do it in my driveway." He moved his vehicle to the parking lot to the left of my house.
Uh-huh.
Person came over. I got in the back. He was in the front, handed him the gun. He gave money and drugs, and I took some of the drugs.
Okay. So you are saying that he just sort of moved over a little bit, but put you in the car with the drugs so that you would have with the guns in the trunk, so that you would have quick access to the drugs when he sold the gun.
What? Say that again, please.
The parking lot was within walking distance, right?
We got in the car. I got in the back seat. They were in the front. The person was in the driver. He was in the passenger seat. He handed him the gun. He handed him the stuff. Adam gave me the stuff in the back seat. I did drugs right there. And then we got out.
Okay. So you had Adam move from your driveway and move to a parking space that was within walking distance.
It was
close
probably
right
from
there.
here to maybe the last person in the row.
Okay. And
A big parking lot. It was a bar.
said somebody came, you're in the back seat and somebody comes over.
It wasn't. So I knew. I recognized who it was too.
Yeah, he just doesn't like how she's
And,
asking the questions.
It was somebody
But it's
that you
irritating for me.
told police you had seen before in a complex with a brick building, and he and Adam had exchanged drugs and money.
I had money.
That
and
says
I
everything.
wanted to get drugs, and I
Everything.
couldn't get it.
I will just
Adam
let
had it.
your
He's like, "I have a
imagination.
guy
do
I
well.
always go to if I'm not talking to you or someone at your house." I said, "Awesome." We went over there. It was a brick building. There was those fences that's like wood, and there's knots in the end. There's holes and like knots in the end of each fence. And we got drugs.
Okay. You told police that you did know the guy from a prior drug exchange.
From that time. I recognized the vehicle from that time and the person from that time.
And that you could take the police probably to the place that drug exchange had happened, right?
I knew it was really close to his house because we hadn't it was in the same vicinity of his house, so I assumed I could find it.
So you told the police, you knew where it was, right?
I told him I think I could find it.
Okay. And the police actually took you on a ride along after your interview with them in 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could not locate the building where you said this exchange happened, right?
No.
And they asked you if you knew the guy and could you go identify him with a picture, and you said,
Basis?
Differentiation.
did they ask you if you, I'm sorry.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Did they ask you if you could identify the guy with a picture?
I said no. I couldn't. I only knew that it, like, no, I said no.
Yeah, she's the defense attorney. And you notice how they
Counsel, would you
confuse
approach for
you
a minute?
when she's asking questions. That's all they ever do is confuse you. They do that intentionally. So if you guys are like this, that's why he gets a little confused and frustrated, is because that's the tactic. We talk about that. We saw that even in Alec Murdaugh. You know, they ask questions in such a way that they're trying to confuse. It's just weird, and it does. It's good strategy. The problem is for this. I mean, this guy is. He looks like he is not a happy camper. They're trying to hide all the tattoos he has literally all over his body to try to make him look like a presentable and representable person, and he's just not. But you know, in his world, there's no good witness because they're all like this man here, and I think he's feeling a little defeated because he's getting in trouble for the way he's answering it, but he just doesn't understand. He really doesn't. He's wanting it accurate and correct. Yeah, she's stressing him out.
What you told the police about if they showed you a picture, and if you don't remember, then
I'll read it.
okay. So they asked if they found a picture of the guy, do you think you could identify him? And you said, I mean, unless it would be like if I looked at it. And the officer asked if it refreshed your memory or something like that. You said, yeah, other than that. So maybe a picture could have refreshed your memory, right?
I never seen him before. I knew what his race was and the color of the car. That's how I knew him. I knew nothing else about him. I knew the car. I recognized the car and what race he was.
And you told them that you saw him close up, right?
I was sitting in the passenger side. Adam was in the driver's side, and it was like this. You know, he was in the front driver's side, and Adam was in his driver's side.
Okay, but you told them that you saw him like pretty close up, right?
Yeah, our cars were next to each other, and they did it through the window, so a few feet.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Break.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's just about 12:30, so we're going to go ahead and take our lunch break. So a reminder, don't talk about the case, don't do any independent research, not with each other or with anybody else. And I'll have you come back at 1:30 and we will resume testimony. Mr. Sullivan, I'm going to ask you to just stay put for a moment while we release the jurors. All rise for the jury, please.
I have to stay all day too.
You can stand, yes. But just
No, do I stay all day?
stay put.
Okay. Oh, let me put that back up. I can probably put this back up. Let's watch this. See if they have anything additional to say. This has been kind of nuts. I have to be honest with you. I have this witness is hard to handle, but so is the defense attorney. I have to be honest with you. You know, she's a little much. But if you guys don't know, or you're just tuning in, Adam Montgomery is the father of Harmony Montgomery. Harmony Montgomery is a child that disappeared I think it was almost 2 years before she was reported missing, or close there too. Definitely over a year. I don't remember all the definite details about this, but it was a case that we've covered quite a bit, a topic we've gone over quite a bit. Her story we have gone over quite a bit on this channel, including the report that came out of New Hampshire related to how she fell through the cracks, which was pretty disheartening to read. The mistakes that were made, the word salad provided, and the fact that we can't confirm that anything that they said that they were going to implement have been implemented. I haven't seen anything to that effect, but I could be wrong. Thank you, the real Me Too. 2 years before she was reported even missing. This poor little girl, the whole family just drugged out, and this girl she was already blind in one eye. She was already, dealing with so much. And then she was dealing with this kind of a father. And I don't understand how a court could have put this child in this man's care. And people saw him, hurt her and literally did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing until she was reported missing. It's hard. It's hard for me to understand how a father can injure a child like that so brutally. And that's the way I look at it, brutally. It's just bad. Well, listen, guys, we've been on here. I would love to stay on here a long time, but I still have a lot of stuff that is going on that I'm still having to work on. And I wasn't expecting, for whatever reason, I wasn't paying attention. I did not realize this trial was today. So we are going to, if you guys would like to see this, it's on Law and Crime. I am going to sign off. I've got to get to the stuff that I need to get to that is important to me. Plus, I haven't eaten at all today. So I'm hungry, and I don't foresee me coming back on today, at least unless something is breaking. I will monitor this, and if, I might do a little video on it or something like that. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm really sorry, but I will be here tomorrow. Hopefully this is not a long, drawn out trial, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done and a lot of paperwork that needs to be gone through. And I just did a large record request, and I don't know what it's going to produce, but I have to think it's going to produce a lot of documents that it's going to have to go through. So anyways, guys, I love you. God bless each and every one of you. But there is a trial. He's not being tried right now for the disappearance of his daughter. He's actually being tried for the gun charges. We're hopeful that he gets a significant penalty for these gun charges, because we don't know what they have against him with his daughter. If they can prove the case, if they're going to find him guilty, they need to find him guilty on each and everything that they can find him guilty on, so he can go to jail and pay the maximum cost for his crimes. He should have never been out of prison to begin with. He's also a potential suspect in another homicide, and there may be more. So not a good guy. Should have never had the care of his young daughter, and never. And without any type of oversight from the Department of Children and Family Services. It was disgusting. Lots of mistakes that led to this young girl's death. And this is just one charge unrelated to his daughter. And, hopefully he gets the maximum penalty at law for these gun charges. But we're gonna watch it. We'll watch it tomorrow too, as long as we can. It's not going to be an all-day event. I just don't have the time right now. I, again, was not expecting this. This was like I wasn't paying attention. I was asleep at the wheel. Anyways, guys, I love you. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow morning.